This is Just Nigeria coming up on the program.
It is glaringly obvious that the price of goods and commodities will be increased the moment the transport fare increases due to the increment in the pump price of fuel.
Yes, there could be a better time, but given the external factors that are also at play here, it just has to come in at this time so that the longer term outlook of the country will start to become better even after now.
Surge in cost of living as Nigerians react to increase in petrol and electricity prices. Also, made in Lagos, we meet the young man using 3D technology to print face masks. Plus,
my name is Martin Ayeni. Check me out.
The entrepreneur using theater to teach communication, creativity, and problem-solving skills. Welcome to Just Nigeria from the BBC and Channels TV. And here on the show, we dissect and analyze the stories being talked about by the social media generation. I am Wale Fakile. Straight on to our top story for this week. For the third time in 3 months, federal authorities have announced an increase in the ex-depot price of petrol from 138 naira 62 kobo to 151 naira 56 kobo. For Nigerians, these are not the best times for hikes of any kind, as many people have lost their sources of livelihood since the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic. So, what should the government do to cushion the impact brought on by these hikes? Just Nigeria's Ajoka Ulotse has been finding out.
A September of hikes is what many Nigerians will remember for months to come. The pipeline and product marketing company has announced an increase in the ex-depot price of petrol from 138 naira 62 kobo to 151 naira 56 kobo per litre, effective from the 2nd of September. This means the retail point price of petrol has risen from 145 naira to about 163 naira per litre, depending on which state of the federation you reside. Days before that, the Nigerian Electricity Regulation Commission announced a service-based tariff review aimed at getting willing customers to pay more for proposed improved power supply. These hikes are in addition to increase in food prices and months of restrictions that left businesses shut and more people without jobs. Some Nigerians are now groaning under the weight of these policy reviews. Oladele Ayola is a commercial driver. He says changes brought on by the pandemic added to the revised fuel prices have put additional strain on his finances.
From here to Akure, I'm like 11,000 naira.
Before the increase, I spent 11,000 naira fueling my car from here to Akure. But now, I spend almost 15,000 naira. At some gas stations, they sell for 159 naira. In some other places, it's 160 naira. The prices are not favorable. Yesterday, I made only 2,000 naira as profit, and I have a wife and children at home.
This renewed hardship brought on by the hike is felt by many of these drivers here and could translate to an increase in fares.
If nothing is being done positively to reduce the price of the fuel, I think danger is looming on the sky, because it's only affecting the travelers alone, people that are going to work within the state, goes with vehicles, some on their private vehicles, some will come to join the public buses. So the tendency for increment on the price of the transport is very imminent.
Now, transportation is one of the several sectors that is bound to be affected by this rise in fuel prices. But just how much of an impact will this have on the movement of people, goods and services in the country?
65-year-old Amdalat is at a loss. Exorbitant transport fares means the nuts, bitter cola and other commodities she has gone to Ishiun to buy in bulk can only be sold at more expensive prices.
I used to transport my goods to Ikotun for between 1,000 and 1,500 naira. Right now they are asking me to pay 3,000 naira. This is why things are expensive.
At the salon, the tales are the same. Months of closure brought on by the coronavirus pandemic has adversely affected the sustenance of the business. A rise in petrol prices, plus an expected rise in electricity bills, have left Aziz quite concerned.
Initially, we spent 10,000 naira weekly, but now we spend as far as 14,000 naira weekly now. We can't take it on our customers. We can't get the money back from them because we might actually lose them.
Bread is a staple food in Nigeria. It is loved by many, but this small-scale bakery may have to shut its doors soon. Rise in the cost of production, taxes, and now a hike in fuel prices means consumers may have to buy loaves of bread at higher prices.
A bag of Dangote sugar we got for 17,800 is now 20,000. Last month, a bag of flour was selling for 12,700, but as of this month, we are buying for 13,500. Doing business now has not been easy. Trying to tell your customers like if, for example, now we sell a loaf of bread, family loaf for 400 naira. Now trying to increase it to 450 or 500 may not be easy because customers may not buy into that. They don't want to hear. They keep on complaining that the prices are expensive. And for you to stay in business, you have to maintain your price. Otherwise, you lose your customers. So I think the latest or the recent policy of the government is not favorable to small-scale businesses.
With dwindling income and rising expenses, Bamidele Adeniro is certain things are about to take a turn for the worse. He is concerned that the economy may spiral downwards.
After a lockdown of over 3 or 4 months, now the increment in price of fuel, and especially that is not available. I see small-time businesses winding up. I see crime rates increasing. I see so many things going down. I see people losing jobs. I see people winding down. It's not a gain situation for the country. It's going to be, but it's not going to be now. You can't see it now. Within the period, it will keep affecting people, to affect every space of this country.
The federal government maintains it is committed to eliminating the corruption associated with subsidies on petroleum products. The president's spokesperson Garba Shehu says the decision was taken to implement long-delayed reforms. But could more have been done to cushion the impact of these hikes on the people?
Ideally, what you would expect is that you would want to find a way to subsidize the demand or to support aggregate demand, because that is what is essentially that's what's needed. If you look at what is going on in other climes, you see the US, you see in Euros, in Europe, you see that they all brought in some form of stimulus package for the consumers to ensure that they're able to weather this period. So we had some form of packages also delivered here in Nigeria, but different levels of effectiveness of that have ensured that that has not really translated properly. So what you would expect, or one of the things that could be done, is to ensure that you find ways to effectively allow this stimulus package, the mechanism of transition, to flow better, such that the final consumer is able to fully feel the benefits of this.
In March, Nigeria's central bank announced COVID-19 palliatives worth 50 billion naira. The aim is to help households and small businesses survive the impact of the pandemic. So, it's one thing to approve the sum, but how accessible is it?
Yeah, so far we have been hearing of palliative. Even sometimes the banks will send us message about SME businesses, but we have not seen anything.
None have I received with this my hands in any regard concerning any part or area of my life.
Palliative. I didn't get anything palliative.
With growing dissatisfaction amongst the masses, it is important that state and federal authorities reflect on the impact these hikes are having on the vulnerable, while creating avenues to cushion the extent of the hardship these people face. Ajoke Hulotse, Just Nigeria.
All right, my colleague Ajoke now joins me to give some insights on the increase in petrol pump prices and how it has affected the cost of living over the years. Ajoke.
Thank you, Wale. These are indeed tough times for Nigerians, particularly with the coronavirus pandemic.
Indeed.
Well, that Nigerians will have to pay more for petrol is no longer news. Social media is buzzing. Perhaps what's new is that your next paycheck would afford less than it could last month. Nigeria has a history of PMS price adjustments, and each time the price goes up, the purchasing power of its citizens takes a fall. Here's a quick history from 2011. As of December 2011, petrol price per litre was 65 naira. At the time, minimum wage was 18,000 naira. With 11% inflation, the real value of that wage was just 14,000 naira only. The average worker lost about 4,000 naira to increase in the prices of goods and services they consumed day to day. In fact, The consumer price index during this period stood at 126. Fast forward to 2012, the price of petrol was increased by 49% to 97 naira. At the time, the minimum wage still remained at 18,000 naira. Real wages was 13,000 naira. 5,000 naira was lost to increase in price of consumables. Inflation rates quickly jumped to 12%, and so did the consumer price index, which rushed up to 141. Now, there was a bit of stability in the price up till February 2015. The price of petrol dropped by 10% from 97 naira to 87 naira, with the minimum wage still at 18,000 naira. Its real value dropped to 10,000 naira only, despite inflation being 9%. Consumer price index rose sharply. A year after, in May 2016, Nigerians witnessed perhaps the highest hike in the price of petrol in the nation's history, a 67% spike that took the price from 87 naira to 145 naira per litre. At the time, the minimum wage was still 18,000 naira, and it could only purchase items worth 8,000 naira only. As of March 2020, the price dropped by 14% from 145 naira to 125 naira. Luckily, the minimum wage at the time increased to 30,000 naira, but with 12% inflationary rate, the real value of the 30,000 naira was just 10,000 naira. In April of the same year, the price dropped from 125 naira to 123 naira. Though the decrease was 1%, it didn't improve the value of the minimum wage, which stood at 30,000 naira at the time, but the real worth was 9,000 naira, all thanks to an inflation rate of about 13%. In July 2020, the price rose to 143 naira 50 kobo per litre. A few weeks later, it went up to 161 naira 50 kobo per litre. Though the National Bureau of Statistics is yet to release data on the consumer price index for the quarter, we can safely predict that the 30,000 naira minimum wage pay of an average worker is at best not worth more than 6,500 naira in Nigeria today. So, how do we get out of this seemingly endless journey of price increases? I spoke with an economist who is also a member of the President's Economic Advisory Council, Bismarck Rewani.
Is this the best time during a pandemic? That's a question to be debated. But sooner or later, you have to do it, right? And so that takes care of that. However, the beauty is that we have dilapidated refineries. There's been no new investment in this sector. Now, with the price deregulation, there'll be new investors. Luckily, Dangote is working on his refinery, fertilizer, and petrochemical plant. But what is more important is that the price modulation formula allows the prices to increase and decrease. So today, the price of Brent is down to $39 a barrel. The last price, the current price of 160 is based on the price of Brent at $45 a barrel. So technically speaking, we should be expecting a drop in the price of PMS. So it is not that anybody increased the price, it is where the market sees it, and that's the reality.
The government insists there's a good, out of all this. Yes. What do you think?
If you don't do anything, you are guaranteed to fail. If you carry out this reform, there's a probability that you will succeed. If somebody says that if you don't take this drug or you don't carry out this surgery, you will die. If you carry out this surgery, you may live. What would you do? That's right. So that's where Nigeria is.
Great insights there from Bismarck Rewani. Wali.
Thank you very much, Joke. So how has the increase in the pump price of petrol affected you? Do let us know on Twitter at Gist Nigeria TV. We are looking forward to your comments. There's more to come here on Gist Nigeria, brought to you by the BBC and Channels TV. Exciting times for fitness enthusiasts in South Africa as gyms reopen 4 months after the lockdown. For that story and more, do join us right after this break.